Hi guys, this is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with some daily analysis. Today is Tuesday the 28th of June 2016 and the time is 10:20 here in the UK. You're looking at an AUD USD 12-hour chart. In today's analysis we're going to be looking at each and every pair on my list. Actually no, we're just going to be looking at these pairs because we're not trading Euro and GBP at the moment. Guess why? So we're going to just be looking at these pairs. We're going to be going through each and every time frame for those pairs. But actually, before we do that, I want to, give a quick word about Brexit. I want to explain how I plan on trading through Brexit and what it means for me personally, for my trading, my personal trading. Because I know a lot of you out there are kind of looking for some maybe guidance through this whole situation, let's call it. So will I continue trading? The way Brexit has gone will likely continue to impact the Forex market for months to come. From what David Cameron has said, he has no intentions of triggering Article 50, which would start the process of divorcing the UK from the EU. So he has no intention of triggering it, and he's going to pass the burden on to the next Prime Minister. This means we're unlikely to see a resolution to Brexit for another 3, maybe even 6 months. So what am I going to do? Am I going to give up trading for the rest of the year? No. I'm going to continue to trade, but I'm going to be exercising a lot of caution. I'm going to be trading with a lot of caution. I'll make sure my risk remains low and that I play it safe. One of the biggest strengths I have as a trader is that I can sit on my hands when is needed. A lot of traders can't do that, especially new traders. They don't know when to stay out of the market. But one of my strengths is I can sit on my hands. I can wait 4, 5, 6 weeks for a trade if I have to. I don't want to go 6 weeks without trading, but I can. So if I feel that not trading is essential to the survival of my account, I will do it. But right now, I don't feel like not trading is essential to the survival of my account. I stopped trading last week and I didn't trade Monday, but I'm going to resume some very safe trading as of today. And I'm not going to be trading either the pound or the euro. Now the pound, I don't see myself trading for the rest of next month. So, I'm thinking the pound is probably something I'm going to stay away for a good 4 weeks. Probably longer, but 4 weeks is the period I've assigned myself to stay away from the pound before I reassess the situation with the pound. This may change, but more likely than not, I'm not going to be trading the pound at all for the next 4 weeks. What about the euro? Well, the euro, I'm thinking I'm going to stay away from it for about 2 weeks. Again, this could be extended. 2 weeks is just the period I've given myself to stay away from the euro before I reassess the situation. So right now, no euro for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'll take a look at the market again. I'll take a look at the news. Well, I'm not going to stop taking a look at the news, but I'll just reassess the situation at that time. And I'll decide if I feel that it's a smart idea to start trading the euro. Now, I said I'm going to be reducing my risk. How much am I going to reduce my risk by? Well, I'm going to be reducing by 25 to 50%. So, for example, let's say my risk is normally 1% per trade. It's not, but let's just say theoretically, because it's a nice number. So if my risk is normally 1% per trade, I'm going to be reducing my risk to 0.75 or 0.5%. So it's a risk reduction of 25 to 50%. Most of the times I'm going to be trading with a 50% risk reduction. So 50% reduced risk, 0.5%. Why am I doing this? Because there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. If a politician comes out and says something big, and that could happen today because David Cameron is meeting in the EU with a lot of the EU leaders, or all of them maybe. So, we are going to get news in the coming days that can cause big moves in the market. It can cause huge swings. We're going to be seeing that in the next few days. And that's why I'm staying away from the pound and euro in particular. But these other pairs that aren't as affected by this situation, I will be trading, but I am going to be trading them with reduced risk because even though they're not directly affected, they are still affected. I mean, we saw a huge move in AUD USD, a huge move in New Zealand USD. The pairs that are least affected seem to be, AUD New Zealand, pairs like that. But the JPY pairs are also affected in a big way. So it's not like these pairs are immune to Brexit, but aside from that big move that we saw on the day, these pairs are going to be less affected in coming weeks than the euro and the pound. So I'm going to be trading them with reduced risk because I'm still expecting possible swings that go against my trade and that take me out of my trades. So reducing risk is just a smart thing to do. So yeah, that's how I plan on trading through Brexit. Just a note to everyone, please be very cautious this week and in coming weeks. If you choose to trade this week, you need to be smart about it. Make sure you check your margin requirements with your broker because they've probably changed, and who knows when they're going to be switched back. And make sure you reduce your risk this week, like I'm doing. It's really an important step. What you should do as a trader, what you should always do as a trader, is to ensure the survival of your account. That's a trader's first job. A trader's first job is not to make money from trading. It's to make sure their account survives. Their second job is to make money from trading, but the survival of your account is the most important thing, because you could go 3 months without making money because you're just in a losing streak and just think everything is going wrong. But as long as your account survives, after those 3 months, when things start to go well and when you start getting a few winning streaks, then your account builds back up. So ensuring the survival of your account is the most important thing. So reducing risk at this point is what you should be considering, you should be doing. Unless your account size is too small and you can't reduce risk, you should really be reducing your risk. Anyway, let's get on to the analysis. I just wanted to make it clear that I am going to be trading, I am going to be avoiding Euro and GBP, but I am going to be trading other pairs. That means that this analysis is probably going to be pretty boring, and I doubt we're going to find any tradable setups. But that doesn't matter because, that is trading. You're not always going to find tradable setups. But we are gonna have a look for some setups, and if we do find some, I am gonna create a trading plan for them. So let's start with AUD USD. We'll look at each and every time frame. Just a quick note about time frames. I do not trade all of these time frames up here. Now you'll see a lot of weird time frames here. I don't trade them all. I use these time frames for analysis purposes. So these time frames allow me to more easily analyze price action, because different time frames show us price action in different blocks, and when we see price action in different blocks, we see more data, and that allows us to better read price action. So I do trade the 3 hour, the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 12 hour, and the daily, and I do not trade the 9, the 10, the 11, the 7, and the 5. I only trade the 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and daily, but the other ones I do use for analysis. So let's quickly go through this chart. Okay, AUD USD, it's bouncing from an area of support. Probably not going to see a trade here because it's in between two of my support resistance areas. All right, nothing there. All right, New Zealand USD, same story. It's bouncing from an area of support, so probably not going to see a trade. It's a bit late. USD JPY. Keep in mind, Japan is trying to devalue the yen. So that could also have a bit of an impact on JPY pairs. But yeah, there's nothing forming here. It looks like price is stalling here. I'm considering possibly pulling the support area up a bit, but I'm going to check it out on other timeframes first. I don't think I've adjusted my my USD CAD support resistance areas for quite some time. But it actually looks like we have a reversal forming here, potentially. It's on the 6-hour chart too. Now, I would need to move my support area up in order to make this a feasible trade. Now, there's always a risk when you're doing that, when you're adjusting your support resistance areas to fit a current indecision candle. Now, I do this in a safe manner because when I do this, I check to the left to make sure there's actually bounces, recent bounces supporting this new support area. So my area was roughly down here. Now, when I pull it up to here to match this current stall in price, if I look to the left and I see things like this, that big bounce there, this big bounce here, then I know straight away that moving the support area is a good idea because it actually has shown support resistance in the recent past. And if anything, moving the area to here makes it even more accurate than where it was originally down here, where it doesn't have as many big bounces. So I am going to pull this area up to here. The danger with doing this is, you know, if you're not an experienced trader and if you don't know what you're doing, you might adjust a support area or a resistance area to current indecision just because you want to take the trade. And it shouldn't be adjusted there at all. But in this case, in this particular case, it makes complete sense to adjust this support area, to pull it up, because we have very, very clear bounces on the 6-hour chart, which means we'll likely see these bounces even on the 12-hour chart, which we do. On the 12-hour chart, it's even more obvious that this is a good area of support resistance. We have a bounce there, bounce there, bounce there, there, blah, blah, blah. So, and there too. So yeah, it's quite clear that this is a good support resistance area. We have indecision forming on support. Looks like it's forming even on the 12-hour, but the 12-hour has just opened. We got quite a while until the 12-hour closes, 11 hours, 30 minutes. It's only opened 30 minutes ago. 6-hour candle's got 5 hours and 30 minutes until close. So, you know, I might end up trading it on there if I even do trade it. What I mean is I might end up monitoring it on there. So USD CAD, awesome. We actually have a potential setup here, and it's unrelated to the euro or the pound. Well, not directly anyway, but any USD pair is related to all other currencies really, because yeah. But I am going to consider trading this for sure. This actually looks like it could turn into a potential setup. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that one. Should I discuss my... See, I don't like discussing trading plans before the candle is actually closed. It's kind of like a pointless endeavor, but, you know, because most of you guys watching this aren't part of the forum, you guys probably won't get an update on this position. So I'll give you a brief overview of, you know, roughly what I would plan with this trade. But keep in mind, this candle has not closed, so that's going to make it very hard to pick an actual entry that I would be using. But I would plan on trading at something like this. If I were to trade it on the 6-hour chart, it would end up being traded something like this. So my entry would be up here. My stop loss would be down here. Now, why is my stop loss so low? First thing is that I like to place my stop loss in an area that's hard to reach. So if I were to place my stop loss here, just below the indecision candle's current low, if I were to place my stop loss there, it would be very easily hit. Why would this stop loss be easily hit? Because it's sitting right in the center of a support area. And not only that, but price has shown very recently, just in this candle here, that it can easily push below that area. So the sellers have shown us that they can easily drop down below this area. So is it really smart to place my stop loss here? Definitely not. I'm gonna place my stop loss down here. Keep in mind this can change depending on how this candle ends up closing. It's still got 5.5 hours until close, so it's quite some time. So this can definitely change, but right now I would say my stop loss would go around about down here. My entry would go around about here. Entry would go here because I want buyers to confirm they've taken control of price by breaking beyond the high of this indecision candle here when the new candle opens. And my target would be around about up here. It'd probably be a bit lower, to be honest. I'd set my target at about 1 to 2, around about there. It seems like that's pretty achievable. I might tighten that target to 1.5 maybe. Perhaps to here, just depending on how it plays out, if this is even entered. To actually enter this trade, we need this candle to close, and then we need the new candle to create a new high. So, you know, we got 5.5 hours. We'll check in on that later. Did I look? No, I didn't look at AUDJPY. Okay, let's check out AUDJPY. But yeah, we don't have anything interesting forming here at all. The JPY pairs, we're not really seeing much of anything on those pairs. AUD New Zealand. AUD New Zealand has been relatively unaffected by this whole thing. But it's not really a great pair to trade generally. It's just a very choppy pair. I do take the odd trade on AUD New Zealand when it's moving well, but yeah. Recently it's been very choppy. All right, AUD New Zealand, nope, nothing there. Oops, I'll just move. USD CHF. Oh, okay. I'm not really sure about trading CHF right now, to be honest. It's too closely linked to the European economy. I might trade it this week. I'm not sure. Right now, it looks like USD CHF is on an area of resistance. I want to look at this on the daily real quick. All right, yeah. It's stalling pretty heavily at this area of resistance on the daily. Let's look at all the time frames. But I think we're going to have to go up to the daily. All right, so what are we seeing here? What are we seeing with this pair? Basically, we have a nice strong bullish preceding trend. We have indecision forming on an area of resistance. So this looks like a potential reversal trade. It looks like price could reverse from here. Now, given the strength of the dollar right now and the uncertainty in Europe, I'm not too sure if that's actually going to happen. And I'm not too sure if it's something that I would trade. It's something that I have to think about. I'm going to think about and I'm going to analyze it as today goes on. I'm going to keep an eye on it. So yeah, I'm going to pull it up to here. I'll make it a pair I keep an eye on, but probably not going to trade CHF. My trading plan for this week was to avoid CHF. But yeah, I'm going to monitor it, but probably not going to trade it. Generally, the best thing to do is to stick to your trading plan. And that is it for this analysis, really. We're not looking at euro, we're not looking at pound. So what do we have? What do we have coming up? Just to review. We have a potential setup forming on USD CAD. It's got quite a while until it closes, but there is a potential setup forming here. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on USD CAD. We're going to be looking for a long trade setup. If this setup actually forms into anything tradable, I will probably post an update to this analysis on my blog. And then USD CHF, we have, yeah, we have indecision on the daily chart forming on resistance. This does look like a strong setup, but the whole Brexit situation makes me think it's probably a bit too risky to trade. But I am going to be keeping a close eye on it regardless. But the main thing here is the USD CAD setup. The USD CAD setup is looking quite good. So yeah, thank you for watching the analysis. I hope if you trade through Brexit, you reduce your risk and you trade smart. But other than that, I will see you for tomorrow's analysis, or I would be doing an update to this potential setup if it actually forms into anything tradable. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button on YouTube and see you tomorrow.